The moon, the brightest and largest object in our night sky. The moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet wobble and its axis, leading to a relatively stable climate. It also causes tide, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. The moon was likely formed after a Mars-sized body collided with Earth. Earth's moon is the fifth largest moon in our solar system. Earth's only natural satellite is simply called the moon because people didn't know other moons existed until Galileo Galilei discovered 4 moons orbiting Jupiter in 1610. If you have looked into a night sky, you may have noticed the moon appears to change shape each night. Some nights the moon might look like a narrow crescent. Other night the moon might look like a bright circle. And on other night you might not be able to see the moon at all. The different shape of the moon that we see at different time of the month are called moon phases. Why does this happen? The shape of the moon isn't changing throughout the month. However, our view of the moon does change. The moon does not produce its own light. There is only one source of light in our solar system, and that is the sun. Without the sun, our moon would be completely dark. What you may have heard referred to as moonlight is actually just sunlight reflecting off of the moon surface. The sun's light comes from one direction and it always illuminates or lights up one half of the moon, the side of the moon that is facing the sun. The other side of the moon is dark. On Earth, our view of the illuminated part of the moon changes each night, depending on where the moon is in its orbit or path around the Earth. When we have full view of the completely illuminated side of the moon, that phase is known as full moon. But following the night of each full moon, as the moon orbits around the Earth, we start to see less of the moon lit by the sun. Eventually, the moon reaches a point in its orbit when we don't see any of the moon illuminated. At that point, the far side of the moon is facing the sun. This phase is called a new moon. During the new moon, the side facing Earth is dark. The 8 moon phases. New moon. We cannot see the moon when it is a new moon. Waxing. In the northern hemisphere, we see the waxing crescent phases as a thin crescent of light on the right. First quarter. We see the first quarter phase as a half moon. Waxing gibbous. The waxing gibbous phase is between a half moon and full moon. Waxing means it is getting bigger. Full moon. We can see the moon completely illuminated during full moon. Waning gibbous. The waning gibbous phase is between a half moon and full moon. Waning means it is getting smaller. Third quarter. We see the third quarter moon as a half moon too. It is the opposite half as illuminated in the first quarter moon. Waning crescent. In the northern hemisphere, we see the waning crescent phase as a thin crescent of light on the left. The moon displays these 8 phases one after the other as it moves through its circle each month. It takes 27 days for the moon to orbit Earth. That means the moon's cycle is 27 days long.